when I got my first job out of school, I was writing advertising. I was actually writing, if you know, back in the day, well, they still have it, on hold messages. So they put you on hold, you know, the music, and thanks for calling Firestone. We'll be right with you in just a moment. Hey, while we've got you, did you know that Firestone can also do breaks?
Was something you said in real life?
Well, no, I would write those. So I would write those, and then I would call my clients and I would read them. And I remember my one client in particular one day said, "Hey, Dave, that's great, man. Play that again." I was like, "Play what? Play what?" I was talking. I said it over the phone. He's like, "Oh man, you got to do my recordings."
DMH Way presents. Chat GCG, a DMH Way podcast.
Welcome to our first special edition of Chat GCG, genuine conversations on growth, contributions, and goals. On this episode, our goal is to introduce you to authentically intelligent people from different areas of life that highlight how the DMH way not only applies to DMH, but to our day-to-day. And today we're going to talk about building stronger working relationships, engagement, and fulfillment, and how that applies universally. This isn't just a DMH thing. This is a human thing. Right. And so to kick things off, I'll introduce myself. I'm Rod Cowan. I'm a DMH Way facilitator.
I'm Daishan Knox, DMH Way supervisory specialist.
And we're here on season two, episode two with Kelly and David Silverman. Thank you both for being here. Greatly appreciate you both being here. And so before we even get started with getting into the deeper questions, we're going to do some softball questions, and we want everybody to get to know you both a little bit. So with that said, here's your first question. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and then what would you say is your guilty pleasure drink of choice? Of course, we always say HR appropriate, you know, but what is that guilty pleasure? So first, let's kick it off with, tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Well, first, thanks for having us, you guys. We appreciate it. So I'm Kelly Young Silverman. I'm Kelly Silverman. That's my name as a teacher and as a wife and a mother of an awesome 12-year-old daughter and these animals that you see around us. But as a children's book author, I go by Kelly Young Silverman. So I'm an author and an educator and a wife and mom. And
awesome.
Wait, what was the second question?
What do you do, and then what's your fantasy drink?
My fantasy drink. Well, I'm going to tell you, my guilty pleasure, and you can attest to this, is coffee. I drink a ridiculous amount of coffee with a lot of creamer in it. So maybe the creamer itself.
Yeah.
Actually, the guilty pleasure is the creamer more than the coffee itself. Because I put a lot of
follow up that to the is it flavored coffee and creamer, or what do you do?
It's flavored creamer. Although I feel like
yeah.
I feel good about it because
it's pretty tame. It doesn't even have sugar.
Yeah, it's the nut pod. So I feel like I'm being healthy, but then I use a ridiculous amount of it. So I think that
your new sponsor, Nut Pods.
Oh yes. You
Nut Pods.
can send those to us if you want. We'll take. We'll endorse.
Awesome.
So flavoring up your coffee.
What about you, Dave?
Me, yeah, I'm David Marshall Silverman. I have an equally strange story. So that's actually my real name, and it's my stage name. So I have made my living as an actor. And about 20 years ago, I started doing two things. I'm an actor and a filmmaker. And then on the other side, I'm a teacher. So I've been teaching full time. I teach at a private school in Atlanta, Georgia. I teach film production, screenwriting, and history of film. And my drink, if I could get away with it without too much trouble health-wise, which is, not the case, I would drink a milkshake a day.
Oh,
Okay.
I love
Nice.
What flavor?
What's that?
What flavor?
Well, probably like cookies and cream, certainly chocolate, mocha. I think back in the day, Arby's had a good mocha one, that was
Yeah.
on the playlist.
All right.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore, but I do love a good milkshake.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that we're warmed up, we've talked a little bit and people got to know you. I'm going to turn it over to Daishan, and he's going to take more of a deep dive into our GCG topic.
Okay. So, and Rod may have said this already, but chat GCG, the GCG stands for growth, contributions, and goals. And so the first question is just dealing with growth. So when you think about your careers, so this is for both y'all, you can decide who answers first. What would you say has been the biggest point of growth in your career?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting career. In terms of acting, just getting to where I could admit to myself that it was the thing that I really wanted to pursue. I mean, I knew it was the thing I wanted to pursue ever since I was a kid. I was pretty successful in high school in debate and forensics. I used to do 10-minute cuttings of plays, and I'd go out on the weekend and compete. And I filled my closet full of trophies, and I was captain of the squad, and I was known at school for doing this. So I knew that that people responded to my acting, and when it came time to matriculate and graduate from high school and think about college, I told my mom, "Yeah, I'm not going to college. I'm going to go to Hollywood." And of course, I grew up in Hollywood, Florida, so my mom's like, "Well, you're already there." But I'm like, "No, I'm going to Hollywood, California." And she said, "No, you're not. You're going to college." So, oh man, okay. So I listened to my mom, and then I thought, well, what can I do that's sort of like acting? And I looked at broadcasting, and that didn't take. And then I ended up in film, and that was close. And I was writing scripts, and I was hoping one day I'll get to do some acting. I did a little bit in college, and then when I got my first job out of school, I was writing advertising. I was actually writing, if back in the day, they still have it, on hold messages. So they put you on hold,
Mm-hmm.
the music, and thanks for calling Firestone. We'll be right with you in just a moment. Hey, while we've got you, did you know that Firestone can also do breaks?
Was something you said in real life?
Well, no, I would write those. So I would write those, and then I would call my clients and I would read them. And I remember my one client in particular one day said, "Hey, Dave, that's great, man. Play that again." And I was like, "Play what? Play what?" I was talking. I said it over the phone. He's like, "Oh man, you got to do my recordings." So I ended up doing some recordings for them. But the thing that came in, you never know what's going to happen next. You really don't in life. And I think the next thing that happened was my oldest brother had a massive stroke. And that was like out of the blue. 27-year-old guy had a massive stroke due to a heart murmur. And the next thing I know, I'm moving up from South Florida to Atlanta to take care of him and be part of his recovery.
Yeah.
And didn't know what was coming next. And I couldn't find a job. We were in the middle of a recession. And I think here's where the growth was. Coming out of that and looking at my brother's situation, and I'm 4 years younger than he. It really hit me. Well, in the meanwhile, I got connected with some actors because I was working at Emory University. My brother was their alumni director when he had the stroke. So they were kind enough to give me a temporary job. And I was around a bunch of kids, and I wasn't much older than them at the time. And they asked me to do a show. And I really had never done a play. I had always done these things, 10 minutes by myself, winning trophies. So I said yes. And I loved it. I was like, this is what I do. It was so obvious to me that I was home. And that summer I studied Shakespeare with them, and they asked me to be part of their group that did Macbeth, and I was like completely all in. But the growth moment, I think, was the fact that I saw what had happened to my brother, and I thought about my heart and my passion and the things that I loved and really wanted to do. And I think for the first time in my life, I said, you've got to do the things that you care about. You got to do them now. Wow, tomorrow is not guaranteed to anybody. Mm-hmm. And that lesson changed the direction of my life.
Wow. That's huge, man. Just that whole mindset of leaving nothing in the tank is just monumental. I think so many of us have dreams that we've buried or we've put on the shelf and like, I'll get back to it. But you went all in.
And it extends beyond that so much. I mean, it can extend to things like, is there a person in your life who you haven't settled up with? Is there a person you haven't forgiven? Is there a person you haven't getting choked up, but that you haven't told how important they are to you? Are they sitting, they don't know, and you haven't said it, and you haven't had that meeting? You know, you got to jump on that. That's the stuff you got to do.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's huge. Yeah.
Thank
you for sharing that.
And that was a young man too.
Yeah, that's huge. And so you have taken the reins. You've got credits galore. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I've gotten to work with some big people. I really have. I mean, I've been very lucky.
You ain't gonna let him play?
Nope.
Look, I've pastored 13 years up in the Panhandle, and I know good and well what a miracle looks like. And Ricky is one. So my counsel to you, Pastor, is figure out why you're so hell-bent on crushing the boy's soul and squandering his blessing. God bless you. Amen. Good night.
Miss Lillian?
Man.
A gentleman's been waiting for you.
Unique, original, totally innovative. There's nothing like this. Nothing in the entire food service sector.
Nice brochure, professionally done. Have we met? The paper cup guy.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
You really think you have everyone's number, don't you?
I mean, I think I got Carol's.
Well, I'd love for someone to take the wheel. Have an easier job, no job.
Oh, what are you talking about? You're a workaholic, too. What would you even do?
Go fishing more, for starters.
Oh, Kathleen, I've been meaning to tell you. We're going to my sister's for Thanksgiving. So thank you for the invitation, but...
Maybe just I can come?
Well, I'm thinking of sitting this year out, actually.
Whoa! Check it out. 75 Winnebago Indian.
It's a gift from my parents. I named it the Leisure Seeker. My husband hated it at first. He thought it was kind of low class. But he kind of got used to it. We've had a lot of wonderful trips in this old rust bucket.
Look at this old beauty, babe.
So you're telling me this place is free?
Yeah.
Like totally free, no strings attached?
Yeah, it's free.
So I can do karate here? All the way from that trash can, all the way to that tree?
You can do whatever you want. It's a public park. Can I get back to my family now?
Yeah, thanks.
Nurse! Nurse! Somebody call security!
Security!
Good Lord. Solomon. What brings you by?
Buck, mind if we speak?
I sure as hell do. What's on your mind? Dr. Bell, you understand this is a deposition for the case of the state of Georgia versus Dr. Lane Hunter. And may I remind you, you're under oath. Dr. Hunter is charged with poisoning hundreds of patients with unnecessary chemotherapy and raking in more than $20 million from fraudulent billings.
He raised my property taxes, Jim. Forced me off my land.
You protest all you want, Henry. You just gotta go through the proper channels first,
Nothing
okay?
proper about what that man did to us, to our town.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Now, Kelly, did you get to share your growth?
I don't even know. I think that speaks for all of us. That was I don't even know if I can follow up with that. I think for me, especially as I've gotten older, I don't think it's the beautiful thing is it's not just one moment of growth. I know there's those pivotal moments that that you grow from, but I think it's all these big and small moments over time for me that's the growth. It doesn't happen instantaneously. I mean, I'm sure it does for some people. I think that's powerful. I think about just like anybody's journey. Some things happen for people and they have that either it's a rock bottom moment or this huge change in their life that says, okay, I'm not on this level anymore. I'm here now. And it happens. It's so obvious. And I think for a lot of us, with whatever career, either whether it's with education, with writing or filmmaking, or even with my family and even our relationship, I feel like it's just these little moments of growth that happen and these little chunks of wisdom you take from them, and you don't even necessarily realize it at the time. And you hit a point in your life where you stop and you reflect back on it and you're like, oh, I see that I've come. You have to look back and go, oh, I've come from here to here. And you may not have even realized it, while it's happening, but it happens and you look back and you finally see it like, oh, I have grown in ways that I didn't even realize. And, and I hope, my hope is that I continue to have these moments where I look back and go, oh, that happened and that changed everything. Whether it's like something huge or even like those tiny little pieces of your life that really did have a big moment. I mean, I know for me, like it was the point in my life where I was like, I'm letting go of worrying and trying to feel like I need to control everything. And, for me personally, it was like, I put my hands up and I'm like, God, I know you got this. Was a big moment for me. It's just saying, I don't have to have everything. I don't have to have it all figured out. I don't have anything to prove in this world. But for so long, you can spend your life trying to prove that you don't even appreciate the good things that are happening in your life because our mindsets sometimes get lost in what's next? I did this. And you just don't get a chance to just stop and reflect about all those moments you did grow. And I mean, I think that's what's been powerful for me. And I do feel really, really blessed that I have, whenever just listening to David's story, just having people around me where I know it's when you said, I've never heard that phrase, authentically intellectual. Did I even say that right?
Authentically intelligent.
So, and I thought, well, that's so true. What a beautiful way of saying it, because, it's just genuine. And it's, just like that people are really caring about what they say and they're listening to other people. And I'm just really lucky to have people that I love listening to and growing from. Like I love hearing other people's stories and then getting a chance to learn from them. And I've been really blessed to have just amazing people. I mean, Rod, we've been friends forever. And I remember we did shows together. I know there's more history there, but yeah. So, I mean, we go way back when I was in high school and then we did plays together and just being around people that, like you had said, the artists that just, they want to grow and learn and explore.
So tell us a little bit about what that entails. What does being an author look like? What are you working on right now? What do you have coming out?
I won't go back to all the stuff that I've done in my life, but at some point in my life, I had written this children's book and I thought, you always think, am I going to do something with this? I think that happens with a lot of writers. You write it and then you don't necessarily do anything with it. You just kind of let it sit there because there's it's with any art form. Once you put it out in the world, I mean, first you're going to start with a bunch of rejection and that's coming. And then it's a lot of effort to get all that rejection. But the more, you just have to persevere through it. And this really amazing opportunity opened up where I had submitted this short story. And the first book I had ever written, children's book, was called Man in the Moon. Is that the name of the book?
Is that the name of the book?
And I had sent it out, and I got a couple of rejections, and then I said, well, maybe I'll look and see if there's illustrators that could illustrate it. I never found anybody that could illustrate that particular book. And then David was working on a film with his director of photography, the director of photography had written, and he said, there is this really great illustrator. She was doing an illustration for something in the movie, and you might want to talk to her. And so I wound up talking to her. Her name was Erin, and I loved her art. And the really cool thing is that she loved the story, and we said, let's do this. And so at that point, we were both pretty far along in our pregnancies. We're about 2 weeks apart, actually. Our kids are 2 weeks apart, but she illustrated, I wrote the book, and we were going to submit it. And there's a couple of different ways you can submit as an author. You can self-publish. That's one journey. My hat goes off to people that self-publish, because it is a huge endeavor. And I'm sure it's incredibly rewarding. There was that, and then there was a traditionally published where and that's also just as challenging, but it's also very rewarding. We wound up submitting it. We looked at both routes, and we wound up finding a small publisher. They were around for a while, but they were still they're bigger now, but they were pretty small at the time, called Wordcrafts Press. And I had met them I had met the owner of that publishing company through a mutual friend, and they didn't do children's books at the time. And he said, let's get on the phone and we'll talk. And we started talking just about the publishing world. And in that moment, he said, listen, I am considering publishing children's books, and I would love for yours to be the first book. So that was a really special moment where I said, okay, let's do this. So that was the first book. We did 2 more books together.
Kelly, where can folks pick up your books?
You can if you're in Missouri, you can pick up those books online at Amazon, Barnes and Noble. What else? I think all the major places you can do that. Oh yeah, and you can go to my website.
There you are.
Yeah.
And you've got some new releases. Lilith Star's Wish, Mystery of the Haunted Graveyard.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a family.
Yeah, we're all on there.
And there's Man in the Moon, Hot Boiled Peanuts, Where's Wilson?
Yep. So I said we were going to talk about stronger working relationships, engagement, and fulfillment. And Kelly, you kicked that off. And I don't even know if you kicked that off, because we were talking about building strong working relationships. And you said, my very first book, I had this work that I loved, but I didn't have the right person to do the illustrations.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, there was a relationship built. David, you said, I was working with Erin, and I know you Kelly, I'm going to mess this up, but you describe her as, is it Erin the Incredible, Erin the Awesome,
she's Erin the Great.
Erin the Great, right?
But she is all
Erin the Great. All those things.
And so Erin the Great.
That's her pen name. That's it. Yeah.
That's it.
Erin the Great. Okay.
Bloom, yeah.
Yes. Okay. I'm like.
And because you had built that relationship, then you were able to take something that was special to you, and now you've come together, you and Erin the Great, and you came together and built something that you can share with everyone to help build relationships. So I'm going to ask you both first, what does that look like for you, building stronger working relationships? What's that look like within your role, and kind of how important is that within what you do?
Well, we do a lot of, as you know, we do a lot of different things, but I think, for me personally, in all of them, with obviously with teaching, you need that strong relationship with we're a school where we, in the lower school, not in the upper school, they have teaching teams, and you really have to have a really wonderful connection with your teaching partner, with the families that you work with, and with the kids. And I'm really blessed. I get to work with the little bitties. I get to work with kindergarten.
Nice.
You're constantly, building this. You're building these wonderful relationships with them, and your goal is to get them excited about learning and making them curious learners who will be lifelong. I know I'm saying learners 3 times in one sentence. That's ridiculous. But the whole goal is to create these lifelong learners who are curious always, and they love, obviously reading to me is that's a start when it comes to kindergarten, is just getting these kids that just love to pick up books and stories and dive in there because, I think you want to have strong literary skills, but also because you want to be able to be a great communicator. And so we really want to instill that in our kids. And I'm kind of going off. I feel like I'm going off topic a little bit, so I might need to be pulled back in by somebody. But
yeah, I'm for students too. I teach high school kids, and those relationships that's the job. That's the job.
And you have to
90% of it is you're establishing and building and growing a relationship with another human being, and then 10% is the content. And it's so funny, a lot of teachers focus on the content, and it's important, but at the end of the day, the kid is going to, think about the teachers that you remember. Do you remember the lessons? Do you remember the tests?
Hopefully you do remember some of the lessons.
But I'm saying, really, do you remember I don't. I remember how they made me feel. I remember how it felt to be with them, that they made me feel like I was important, and I was valuable, and I was capable, and that I could do it. Those are the people that inspired me. So speaking that kind of life into students, that's the job. And it's a challenge because, there's human beings are complicated, and kids are distracted and complicated, just like we all are.
That's true. And I think that, I do, just kind of ping pong off of that. The learning happens because there's the wanting to learn from some of the kids, but like that happens with that trust from that educator, that person they feel safe with, they feel like they're in an environment where they feel emotionally sound. Like I can make mistakes and feel okay with that because I have a person that I know cares about me, and that they, you've created this like family. Especially for us in kindergarten, because we are with our kiddos for the majority of the day. I know it's a little different with you guys, but we really create that sense of family and security where it's like, hey, listen, you're going to fail, and that's part of the process, and that's a good thing, because the more you're failing, it means the more you're trying. And that's something I think we can all learn. I think even as grown-ups, we have the fear of failing, and you just have to, I think that's what I love, that word humility. It's one of my favorite words, because I think we could all use a dose of humility often. I put my foot in my mouth all the time, and then I go.
So thinking about what you all have lined up, we're in March right now. This episode is going to air in April. Thinking about what you may have lined up for the duration of 2026. And just to recap, if folks are just jumping onto the episode, at this mark in the episode, Kelly, you're an educator. You've written books. You two share a production company. David, you're an educator. You've been in a number of things. And I'm just going to say the ones that stood out to me. So what is it? 5 seasons of The Walking Dead.
3 seasons.
Three seasons? Yeah. Okay. 3 seasons. I'm sorry. 3 seasons of The Walking Dead.
I'll take 5. But...
I'm giving you extra credit. Yeah. I'm going to go back, though, because Rabbit Trail. My wife and I were watching Walking Dead tough. And then when Negan showed up and did what he did to Glenn, she was like, it's too much. I can't take it.
That was it for me. I was a fan of the show before I got on it. And that episode was like the end of
You're out.
That was it. I'm out. I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I was working on the show with Negan. So it was very weird. It was weird to be a fan and be on the show. Strange Days.
Yeah. So we'll go back and rewatch. And you just said Strange Things. You were on Stranger Things.
Yeah.
You were on Madam Governor, which I was just recently got into because I travel a lot. I'm like, what can I find on Netflix? So got into that. You got some
Yeah,
credits,
I mean, you
man.
want a good one with me. The Hill with Dennis Quaid. Great baseball movie. It's a family movie, so you don't have to be embarrassed. You know, some of these movies, you know,
Nice.
maybe you don't want to
Show
with your kids, but Hill, you can find that one. I think we're still on Netflix. Dennis Quaid. It's a great movie, and I got a good part in that one.
Okay. So all of that said, what do you all have in the queue for the rest of 2026 or even looking into 2027? What goals do you have?
Goals.
Well, I'm always auditioning and I'm always hoping that I get to do something great. I just most recently did an episode of Will Trent, ABC show, which just aired. I've got a Tyler Perry Christmas movie supposedly coming out. I haven't seen it on IMDb yet, but I'm hoping they finish that movie and it'll be ready for Christmas. It's called The Gospel of Christmas. And I think those are the only things I've got going right now, aside from the films that we've produced. I've got a couple of films out on the film festival. We have a couple of films out on the film festival circuit, and that's always fun. You know, that's your craft.
Yeah.
Right. Talk about purpose. There's no money in this. This is just
your money
to share with other people that love film. And it's so rewarding and it's so cool. So we like to go to these film festivals and interact with our audience, interact with other filmmakers, watch the films, have people watch our film. And we're doing more of that we've got a new film called The French Lesson, which is just now starting the submissions. So I think we'll start getting some festival acceptances soon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is that one still in the circuit?
Our other movie's coming off of the festival tour. The movie's called And the Moon Sees Me, and that was really a Kelly-led effort. Kelly found a story that she thought was really compelling, came home and said, I've met this spoken word artist, and she's got this great thing that she does, and I think it would make a really cool little movie. So next thing you know, we're at the kitchen table with our little team, and they put it together. It was really good, and it did very well in the festivals.
Yeah, and you know that was another. I know we had talked about. You mentioned the word servitude, and I think I love that so much because I think that no matter where you are in your life, you can always find ways, and it's hard. And it's one of the. I think it's the most rewarding thing is it's so easy to be here all the time, me, and thinking about even when you're thinking about the mistakes you're making or how far I haven't gotten. I haven't gotten far enough in my life, or I haven't done this, or I've done this and I did this wrong. If you're finding ways to help other people and kind of, collaborate with other people and see what you can bring, like, well, hey, how can I help? How can I help? Just bring those words. I think that to me is, we were talking about fulfillment. That's a great way to just have fulfillment in your life. Because just anytime you're overly thinking about yourself, you're either going to be thinking really, really low or really, really high. You're either like, you're like, oh man, I'm so awesome, but you're not going to stay on the top forever. So, that's for everybody. We all have, wonderful, and it's the same for the bottom. You're like, oh, I can't do anything. But if you're giving your heart out there, no matter where you are in life, and you're trying to help other people or help a situation, I think that you do feel, you don't even have time to think so much about this. But that when you were talking about the story in The Moon Sees Me, there was an author and she was awesome. And I knew we had something, we made movies, and she had this gift. And I said, do you want to make your story into a film? And just a really wonderful experience to turn for her, because she's like, I could not imagine seeing my story come to life. And now she's a successful screenwriter for that. And now she's a published author. Awesome. So if you guys, her book is coming out. Awesome. Jessica, ours. I'm trying to figure out. Now I feel like I should know her book so I could say it. But Odessa Blaine, if you guys, Odessa, I'm so sorry that I don't know the title of your book, but that's coming out this year for her, which is really exciting. You guys can all wish me luck. I am supposed to be writing the second part of my series. So Mystery of the Haunted Graveyard is the first book in a series, and I should be finishing that. fingers crossed I finish it by spring. If my editor or if my publisher is watching this, I did tell them it would be done by spring. So that's the goal. So
we can always edit, Kelly. It's okay.
If it doesn't come out, erase that.
That's right.
That should either come out I wish it would come out fall. I think that's kind of cutting it close. So it's either going to come out the end of fall or the beginning of next year, assuming that they don't come back with a ton of this. I know there's going to be some, but hopefully the whole story is not going to be a complete redo. So we'll see, because you never know in that world. But yeah, and I'm working on some training with my teaching, which I'm really excited about. So I'm hopping on board with just continuing to grow as an educator, because it's always, I love learning, and I wound up taking one of these classes for Orton Gillingham training, and I loved it so much that I told my boss, I'm like, can I just keep going? Can I just keep training? And kind of like you, where you're like, let me keep going. What can I do now? So
yeah,
our plan, and then spend some time together, hopefully, because the school year is so busy. So we're ready for we like summers.
Yeah. So we're gonna come in for a landing and kind of wrap things up. One, thank you both, because we have taken up a lot of your time, but this has been impactful for me.
Yeah.
And I genuinely, authentically appreciate you all doing this with us. Seriously.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much. So before you go, we're going to do, we always do a healthy division. We do this or that kind of questions among DMH, but we're going to throw these out there for you.
And so, way. I don't even know if I have answers for this question, because I did see some of your questions.
Yeah, so we'll throw them out there. If you have something that is not even on here and you want to answer in a different way, feel free to do it, however the spirit moves you.
So that's okay. I'm better in the, I don't need.
Okay.
Now.
Okay, so here's the first question. We're going to talk about food. So your first answer is the best answer. Don't think about it. Just throw it out there. Your expressive way, just throw it out there. So who has better food, Missouri or Georgia?
Georgia.
Okay, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But, I love my Missouri food, but Georgia's where I got the good food. Sorry, Missouri.
Okay, it's fine.
Y'all got the chicken and waffles, the real chicken and waffles.
All right, so when we're going to talk about zoo, so do you prefer the St. Louis Zoo, Kansas City Aquarium, or is there somewhere else more local to you all, or even somewhere else that you all prefer?
I don't think you've been to either of those places.
Yeah, zoos make me sad.
Oh,
okay.
I have a thing. First of all, zoos make me sad, and butterfly exhibits bring out the serial killer in me, because I have an uncontrollable urge to swat. And they're just like all in your peripheral vision. I cannot go into. I will be arrested. I'll just kill them all.
Wait.
So zoos make me sad because I don't like to see animals. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of breaks me down. Sorry.
Sorry
to break
no, it's fine.
Down.
There's a really nice butterfly house at the St. Louis Zoo, and so keep you away from. Okay, no serial killing at the St. Louis Zoo. All right. So again, this is a couple places. Don't know if you've Branson or Lake of the Ozarks. Or somewhere else.
Can I tell you, this is kind of I'm going to say Branson, but I want to go. I've never been. That's so crazy, but I've never been to Lake of the Ozarks, but I want to go to Lake of the Ozarks.
I've never been to either one, so.
I'm going to go to Branson. That's the one I know. But Lake of the Ozarks is where I want to go.
Which one has a butterfly exhibit?
I don't think Branson does. I don't know.
I'll go to Branson.
I don't know.
Then.
Okay.
Branson is the Vegas of the Midwest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He said, "Oh yeah." That's so kind.
He's like, I don't like Vegas. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I like winning.
It's like the Vegas for the elderly, low key.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's like you got all the shows, but it's like I don't think there's much gambling in Branson, but it's like shows galore.
Oh yeah, lots of shows.
You're not going to be winning like that.
So thinking about sports, I don't know if you're sports people, but sports, St. Louis Cardinals, or who's your team?
Are we talking baseball? Yeah, because it's
doesn't have to
baseball.
Yeah, well, I'm a Braves fan.
Atlanta Braves. Okay.
Great.
Same. Kelly, you're going with the Braves?
I'm going to go with the Braves.
I'm one single tier, Missouri girl, and you're going with the Braves. Holy cow.
But let me tell you, if you guys were honest, I don't care.
She doesn't care. In
sports.
fact, she should say St. Louis because her sweet grandmother, God rest her soul, she was a diehard St. Louis Cardinals fan.
My parents are probably really disappointed in me because my parents are both like big sports people.
But I love that. I adored that about her, that she would be glued to the television set, just like my mother, who's still with us, thankfully. My mother is a huge Braves fan.
Nice.
So I'll say Cardinals for my grandma, my granny. I'm just kidding.
Do it for granny.
So just a couple more, and Kelly, this may really speak to you so much, but Mark Twain or T.S. Eliot?
See, you say that, but I'm going to say Mark Twain because I like humor. I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably more T.S. Eliot. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Some healthy division right there.
Yeah.
We go Mark Twain and T.S. Eliot. All right. And the last one, Disney or Universal Studios?
Disney, hands down.
You're like, there's no...
Nobody does it better. I would sing that song right now. Yeah, remember the song?
Which one? Small World?
No, nobody does it better. You know, you guys are too young.
No, that was Carly Simon.
But yeah, Disney is so amazing. They do everything so
magical.
They're so thoughtful about everything they do. It's incredible. The attention to detail is unsurpassed, I think, by any other major company that I've ever encountered.
All right, so hands down Disney.
Yeah.
All
right, Disney. Thank you so much. It's been great. I'm a fan. So thank y'all for kicking off episode 2 and season 2 for us. And we will keep y'all posted when we air this on YouTube. Chat GCG, a DMH Way podcast. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Scan the QR code for the DMH Way website.